recording started. So gestures you have understood basically what is gestures. I don't think so any kind of doubt is there relating to gestures or any kind of question is there. If there are any kind of question you can ask related to gestures. What is the importance of gestures in non-verbal communication? How it plays a very important role in overall communication, those things. What are the different gestures which are there? I guess the meaning even of the gestures are very simple. Only direct meanings which are there, literal meanings, those things will be applicable to the gestures. Then handshake comes under gestures or postures. Yes. Handshake will come under which?
Gestures.
Gestures, because it is movement of the hand. It is not some kind of position which you are maintaining. Now, different kinds of handshake. Can you see the 15th slide? Handshake.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
So you can see different kinds of handshake which are there. Weak handshake, strong handshake, well gripped one, and handshake with second hand grip or diplomatic person's grip, which is called as diplomatic handshake, also known as politician's handshake. So using both the hands, you can see the pictures and you will get the idea which is which. Which one should be avoided at all cost out of these four? Completely avoided.
Fourth.
Fourth, which one? What is the name? Shall I zoom it?
Diplomatic.
Diplomatic one.
Dead.
Dead fish.
Something.
Dead fish. Dead fish. Dead fish. The similar position like a dead fish. When you hold a dead fish, it is in the similar position. So when you totally limp off your hands, so that is something like a disinterested or a cold person. So therefore, dead fish handshake should be avoided at all costs because it shows that you are not interested in the other person or in whatever he's saying or speaking, or totally writing him off. So that should not be the case. Obviously, you are shaking your hands with another person, you should show some kind of interest. Even too much grip on a handshake, that is also not good. But the most which should be avoided, that is the dead fish handshake. That should be avoided at all cost. But too much grip should also be avoided because too much grip shows some kind of dominance. Some people do a handshake in such a way that they put such a strong grip that the other person's hands may feel the pain or some kind of mark is left. So that dominant handshake should not be there. Only the second one is very acceptable in the society, in professional society. That is strong and well gripped handshake, but not too strong, which shows warmth, which shows friendliness, enthusiasm, etc. Interest. Even politicians' handshake, that is holding the hands with both the palms or holding the hands like in the picture it is given. That diplomatic handshake should not be there. Instead of using one hand, when you use both the hands, that is diplomatic handshake. Why that should be avoided? Diplomatic handshake. Diplomacy is not a wrong thing, or it is not a bad thing. But still, why it should be avoided? Yes, anyone?
Sir, sometimes that can mean something else.
Like what is something else? You have to explain.
Like, sir, the third one only, no, sir, politician.
Yes.
Sir,
Politicians.
it sometimes it also mean that you are inviting some opposite gender for a dance in a
Okay.
party. It
It's
can mean.
different one. Specific thing. Um, in general, why this is avoided? Diplomatic handshake. What is the loss in having this kind of handshake? Why to avoid this?
Sir, showing our concern.
Yes, something like that. Like showing some kind of ulterior motive. Diplomacy is generally done to gain some kind of benefit out of the other person. So it shows some kind of ulterior motive. So you do not want to give this impression to the other person while shaking the hands that you have some kind of motive or some kind of benefit which can be reaped from that second person. So that is why strong, well-gripped handshake is the most common one which should be used in professional world. Two hand or using the second hand should be avoided. Limp hand should be avoided. Too much grip should be avoided. Too much grip means you are sometimes putting it in a twister form. That should also be avoided. Some people they in style they just put in their total palm from the above. That kind of handshake should also be avoided. Strong grip, normal handshake, that is okay. Whenever doing handshake, normally shake the hands of the other party like people do generally, but put in a strong grip. Strong grip does not mean too much pressure, only a balanced amount of pressure, and that will be okay. These all play a very important role in the professional world. People judge the characters, people ascertain or evaluate the people on the basis of these things: handshakes, movement, postures, sitting style, listening style. People notice these things. These play a very important role in the professional world. You will see it in college life, in school life. You will not be very much aware of these things, but in professional world, you will see. Whenever going for a meeting, whenever attending some professional kind of party event, people notice these things. So you must be aware of what kind of things should be there. See, handshake is an integral part of one's personality, and different kinds of handshake have different kind of meaning. Most probably in professional world, you have to practice a strong, well-gripped vertical handshake. The picture which is given. Can you see the 16th slide?
Yes.
This is the right kind of handshake. Strong, well-gripped, vertical handshake. Exact kind of handshake, professional handshake. No other kind of handshake is suitable for general situations. Now, if you typically want to show your dominance to some other party or something, you have a grudge which is being held, then that is another case. Otherwise, professionally, this is the most appropriate kind of handshake. It creates positive impression. In interviews, if you are doing a handshake with the interviewer at the end or something, then this kind of handshake should be there. Vertical, strong gripped. Even grip should be a bit strong, balanced.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, and what should be the contact time? Average.
Average contact time, not much. It is not standard like what should be the contact time. One shake, two shake, whatever it is, because it is a mutual thing. You should also notice that what the other party is doing.
Okay,
Too
sir.
much holding of the hand is not also good. Because sometimes what happens is if the other party is holding your hand for too long, some people use the second hand. That should be avoided. So only a singular shake or double shake, that will be the professional handshake. If the other party is professional enough, he will himself leave your hand. Interviews, these matter a lot. Shows your confidence. Shows that you are up to the challenge. Positive impression.
Sir,
Yes.
sir, what is this vertical handshake?
The picture you can see.
No, sir, vertical here, what refers?
Verticals means the hand position. It should not be like coming from the top. Like some people in style, they do coming from the top, they put their hands like in the horizontal position. The palms. Vertical handshake means vertical palms. Side to side palms, like in the picture.
Okay, sir.
Do not take your hands from the above, like put in the horizontal position and then give your hand. Like some people in the Victorian era, they used to do it, especially the ladies. Then handshake clear.
Yes, sir.
The
Clear,
only
sir.
Yes,
thing
sir.
which you have to notice in handshake is that you have to put in a vertical, strong gripped handshake. Then these are some of the gestures which are there. You can read about these gestures, covering the mouth with the hands. These are also signs of lie. So read those lines and you will understand what are the signs of lies. Now next time you see another person doing these things, you will get an idea that he or she is lying. Scratching the neck is the very obvious kind of gesture which is there once someone is lying, or scratching behind your ear. Even scratching the nose and covering your mouth with hand is sometimes the sign of lying. These are the signs of a lie. It is very important to understand which person is honestly saying you something, telling you something, and which person is having some kind of motive or is lying completely. Then next slide, you can see rubbing of the eye. Again, a sign of untruthfulness, or you can say lie. Sometimes also hesitation. Not complete lie, maybe some kind of hesitation. Whatever is being told through these pictures, they are not like 100% they are these things. Because automatically also our body makes in certain kind of gestures which the brain does not think that they are hiding something or they are doing. These are automatically done. So 90% of the time, these are the signs of what we are teaching, that these lies or something. Then you can see the movement of the hand. Slapping of the head indicates forgetfulness. Sit down with one hand behind shows superiority, this kind of position which is there in the picture. Cross leg is the readiness to argue. That is why cross arms are also avoided. The one thing which I told you earlier also, that in interviews do not sit cross-armed. So what does the cross arm means? Like cross legs, cross arms, what does it means? Yes.
Sir, crossed leg means it is also like leg by leg, sir. Is it also comes under this?
Like in the picture it is given. Cross leg.
Sir, if it is leg by leg,
Leg by leg
I mean,
means what?
means
Can you
actually
explain?
uh,
Like two of the legs
thigh,
together.
thigh on thigh, sir, like another leg on our another thigh.
Another thigh. No,
That,
do not put it
yes.
like that. It is like closing something. Putting one leg on the another thigh or putting one hand on the another hand. That is closing. And when you close those hands or legs, that is the signature or that is the sign of closing your total attitude also. So
Okay, sir.
which people contract themselves or contract their bodies to sit in such composed position? Generally those people who are trying to not disclose much about themselves or not confident enough. The people who will be confident enough, they will be relaxed, they will be sitting attentive, disciplined. So do not show
Sir,
signs
but
through your
some of the
non-verbal.
most professionals in their, I mean, company heads or some entrepreneurs, we see they sit in that crossed arm position, sir, leg by leg. I mean,
Like
not
see
like this, sir, but
how many gestures which we are teaching you will directly follow in real life. Now everyone cannot be told. Ones who are having the proper knowledge, even those, they also make in mistakes and they also make in they also do not follow the gestures 100% which are appropriate. Our work is to teach you, our work is to tell you. So whenever you notice this thing that you are making some kind of mistake, so change that gestures. But if it is automatically there, then nothing can be done. At least keep in mind that these gestures are not appropriate.
okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
And especially in those cases where you are being observed much and you have a lot in on stake, like interviews, there you have to be very careful, like what kind of sitting arrangement, sitting position you are maintaining, what kind of, where you are putting your hands, how you are speaking, what kind of facial expressions you are giving. Those things are important. Because what is happening nowadays, there are n number of candidates which large number of similar knowledge. The content knowledge is almost the same. So they are trying to gauge out, or the interviewers or the those who are coming for selections, they are trying to gauge out those people who can carry themselves well in the professional world, who can give an impression to their clients, good impression to their clients, and not only know about certain things, because knowing about certain thing is not a very big task. You study, you will know about things, but maintaining these gestures, postures, soft skills is very important. How you carry yourself, how you the gracefulness in your movements, those things is very important. It separates a professional person from an unprofessional person. Now you can see much different other gestures. Stroking or rubbing one's chin may indicate some kind of disagreement. Hand resting, some kind of maybe analysis, evaluation. These are common gestures. See, arm crossed, defensive or cautious. That is why avoided. Does not shows flexibility, close-mindedness. Hands in pockets, hiding something. These are some common messages which you give through your gestures.
Sir,
Yes.
let's turn to the previous slides.
Which one? 21st, arms crossed or hand movements?
Yes, 21.
21
Yes, sir,
slide.
this one.
This is the 21
Uh,
slide.
What does it mean by defensive and cautious?
Defensive and cautious
Careful,
means
cautious means.
Yes, but here in this context, it is about too much carefulness. If you are being too defensive and cautious, you will not take any kind of challenge. So a person who is not taking any kind of challenge becomes stagnant. No one will try to take those candidates into their office who is stagnant. Dynamic personalities are important for development, for growth. So too much defensiveness, too much cautiousness is also not the right thing. That is why this kind of gestures to be avoided while sitting.
Sir, then
Yes.
during an interview, how should we place our arms? Sir, we should not place our arms on thighs, you said. We should not cross our
You
arms.
should not place your arms on your thighs, who said? One leg on the another thigh, do not place it. Like closing of your legs, closing of your arms, do not do that.
So,
Place your arms normally on your thighs, no problem.
Acha. Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Normally. Do not become too limp also, like putting your hands on your thighs and you have your shoulders have sagged down. That should also not be the case. Because shoulder sagging and not sitting in a upright position, that is also not good. That shows less attentiveness.
Sir, and putting on thighs and fingers should be open or closed?
If not visible, then no need to show any kind of things. Fingers closed or fingers open, that does not matters a lot. Because even fingers closed also some kind of you are showing a mildness. So a bit of mildness is okay. No problem.
Okay, sir.
The only thing is that the total hand. If your total hand is like the position which is given in the picture, that is wrong. That is not wrong actually. That is not appropriate for interviews or for those, not only for interviews, for those communication where somebody is interacting to you or somebody is trying to give you some impart you some kind of knowledge, or it needs to ask from you something. So in those positions, if you are sitting defensive or cautious, that means you are not completely opening up to the other party. And in interview, you need to open up to the other party to show yourself. So that is why. Depending upon the situations, everything work.
Okay, sir.
And most of the professional situations are similar. That is why these gestures. Next comes the postures. What kind of postures to be maintained? Now, what is posture? We have already discussed, but still I want to know what is postures.
Position of our body.
Position of our body. The position in which you are holding your body or holding your body.
Yes, sir.
Now, position can be different. Like if you are sitting, if you are walking, if you are running, if you are sleeping, different cases, different positions. So in what position you hold your body in certain situation, that is your posture. Is the way how you sit, stand, walk, or lie. That is posture. Now, owing to this definition, there are two types of postures. One is dynamic posture and one is static posture. Dynamic posture, when you are moving, then how you are holding your body. And static posture, when you are not moving. So dynamic postures will consist of running, walking, bending, etc. Whereas static postures will consist of what? Can you tell me? On the basis of all this which I have said.
So standing, sleeping.
Okay, standing, sleeping, good. What else?
Sitting.
Sitting, very good. All the times when you are holding your body at one place, when you are not moving.
Sir, are we on screen number 21? Sorry, slide
We are
number
not
20.
on any screen. This I am just telling you about the postures. This is not in the slides. So there are two types of postures, dynamic posture and static posture. So you understood what is dynamic posture, static posture? Simple. Dynamic,
Yes.
moving, static, non-moving. Now these dynamic and static postures also play a very important role. See, you can see the 23rd slide. 22nd slide is all about hand resting on the head, resting on the hand, and all these things. Simple things. Let's move on to the 23rd, that is postures. Various postures are there, some to be avoided, some to be followed. One is erect posture, that is eager to do the task, or hostility. Now these are contradictory things. One is enthusiasm and another one is hostility. So erect posture should be maintained carefully, so that people should not get the right, or should get the right message, or should not be misunderstanding what you are trying to say. So if you are standing erect, do not try to stand too much erect. Like too much erect means hostility. Normal erect with confidence. You may have seen people standing with confidence. So you understand what is normal erect position. Total body. Generally, hostility is shown by akimbo position. The picture which is shown in black, the lady standing in black at the side of this slide, that is arms akimbo position. This should be avoided. This is either hostility or some kind of negative posture. In here in this state UP, you may have seen most of the people standing in some akimbo position. Whenever they are listening to even something, they stand in arms akimbo position. However, in professional world, arms akimbo position is hostile position. Have you seen people standing in this arms akimbo? Even sometimes when the people are bored, they stand in this position, but actually it shows hostility, hostile behavior. So can you see the 23rd slide, everyone?
So
Okay. So first position, that is arms akimbo position, that is erect posture, that should be used carefully. Do not put your hands on your waist. Stand straight and confident, that is okay. But if in the arms akimbo position, then arms akimbo means hostility, so avoid it. Confident person position or posture, you can see the person standing like this. Most of the speakers, good speakers, even the motivational speakers, you will see like standing like this position or in this position while speaking. Even in proper classrooms, in lecture rooms, professors will be standing in this position most of the time. This is appropriate position or near to this position. And this is the most common position also, or posture also, you can see. Stooping of the shoulders should be avoided again, because non-confident person, that means. So these are the few postures which should be there. Arms akimbo should be avoided. Confident person position, like standing straight, erect shoulders. And if you are walking, then fast steps, straight head, straight posture. That is a posture for confident person. Shoulders sagging or stooping of the shoulder, that is also not the right way. Non-confident person shows. So it should be avoided. The first and third should be avoided. Then let us come to another kind of kinesics, because we are actually studying kinesics. So another kind of thing which is there in the kinesics is eye movement. So you can see how your eyes can be used for, or eye contact can be used for speaking something. So eye contacts, you can see that it is one of the part of the face itself. But if facial expressions are a thing, then eye contact is 50% of what your face is telling. That is why people say that gazing into somebody's eyes will tell you that with how much or what kind of personality that a person is having. You can know the honest truth from the eyes by reading the eyes of a person. These are not literally or some kind of literature based talks. These are scientific talks. They have a science behind it, because eye speaks a lot. Your mind is connected to your eyes and properly your brain, and it gives in signals at certain automatic signals. If you read it or observe it carefully, you will understand what the other person is trying to say or what the other person is hiding from you. That is why without even looking to another person's total behavior, people just gaze into the eyes and they tell that other person what the other person is thinking. They are just assuming a few informations and putting in an overall average information that what the other person is doing on the basis of the information which they know. First thing you can see, gazing towards blank while conversing is an indication of recollecting something. This you may have experienced, all of you, I guess. Very common with the students. We have also faced the same thing. So nothing to be ashamed of, but it's a very automatic kind of thing or eye contact which we do or which we make. Even in interpersonal communication, two people communicating and you are gazing towards blank. Has it happened? Honestly, I guess everybody has
Happens.
happens all of the times, most of the time, because your mind cannot recollect the informations very fast. Sometimes it needs some amount of time. So whenever it needs time, you need to do something else, because while speaking you are already engaging your mind, so you need to de-engage it. Now de-engaging requires some kind of eye contact or eyes moving towards some kind of another focus point so that you can recollect the informations. Then shutting eyes frequently indicates disinterest or lack of keenness in the discussion. Very frequent. A normal frequency eye shut is okay, but very frequently you are shutting your eyes, then it is like lack of interest. Escapist reaction. Why it is called escapist reaction? What are you trying to escape through this kind of eye contact?
Of the discussion.
Yes. Can you repeat?
Escaping from the discussion.
Escaping from the discussion. Trying to avoid the discussion. That is again a side effect of disinterest. So what is the best practice? What needs to be done? You can see best practice is looking above the eyes, near the forehead, above the nose of the other person while speaking. Whenever you are nearby to the other person, especially nearby, when far off, then there is no need to focus on something or another thing. Direct eye contact is okay. And when you are near to the other person, especially if maximum 1 meter is the difference between two people talking, then look above the eyes of the other person towards the forehead, above the nose. Like there is a center point of the forehead, focus on that. But do not stare again. Normally look into those, or whenever talking, look into or put your eye contact or make an eye contact at that place. That will look like a confident eye contact with the other person. Okay. Focus on the middle of the head, that is Not exactly middle of the head, somewhere near the eyes. By what has been written, can you identify the position at where your eye contact should be with the other person, especially in the close communication?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Last comes after eye contact. Last thing which comes into mind that is about kinesics is tactile. Tactile means touch. And touch can have several meanings. You can see whatever is written in this slide. Can you see the 25th slide? Can you read it? Is it legible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So you can read it and you can, like in yourself, you can read it and then you can understand that what is or what kind of things should be there in the touch. Gentle touch, friendly hand on the shoulders. That is communication encouragement. So that should be done generally. But with those, because if you are using a friendly touch, the other person should at least be acquainted. Without acquaintance, do not touch the other person. That gives in a wrong impression, especially in the professional world. And many feelings can be shown through touch. Mostly touch are for informal communications within close people. Formal communications, they require very formal touch. A touch which the other can feel that it is a comfortable touch, which you can say, especially in the case of opposite genders. Because maybe your boss is a female person, then even the handshake, what is the time period of the handshake? Short handshake will be most beneficial, even if you are doing the handshake. If not, then it's okay. Depends upon the culture of the office. Now, let us come to the last part of this unit, that is the functions of non-verbal communication. What do you do with non-verbal communication? Can you see this last slide, 26th slide? Functions of non-verbal communication.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
So
Yes.
6 main function. This is very important topic. So you can mark it as an important topic. Functions of non-verbal communication. So they fall into 6 categories. That is, first is repeating, then contradicting, substituting, complementing, accenting, and regulating. Now, whatever the name is, whatever the term is, similar is the functions. So can you explain it, these terms? The first one, repeating. For non-verbal communication, we are saying repeating means, yes,
Sir, sometimes instead of repeating the same thing, we can use gestures to show whatever we are trying to say,
yes,
like
like
pointing
if
to a
yes,
specific statement.
right, good. Like if you have said something and the other person may not have heard you or something, and you are already face to face with him, you can repeat through the gestures, okay, to restate the things or the verbal message without speaking words. Yes, that is repeating. Then contradiction.
Sir, sometimes instead of saying against a person or saying no, we can just simply nod our head.
Right. This is something typical. Contradiction is by words you are saying something, but you don't want to actually, or you are not interested in that person or the talks of that person or any task which is said by that person, then you can show your disinterest through some kind of gestures, contradicting your own statement. So he will get the message. Like if you are not very warm towards one person and you are saying happy to meet you on the face, but you don't want to show it. So you can give a limp handshake. The other person will understand, though you are saying happy to meet you, but the other person will understand that you are not actually happy to meet him or her. So contradiction. These are the benefits of communication. Knowing about the gestures and postures will help you to subtly give in the information which you want to transfer to the other party without being direct. So having the knowledge of communication or soft skills is a very important weapon in your hand. How you use it, that is totally dependent on yourself. Some people are there who are only professionally successful because of the soft skills. Then after contradiction, there is substituting. What is substituting? Substituting what? Substitution means in place of something. So in place of something, in place of which thing?
Sir, sometimes we can tap our foot indicating of frustration. Instead of saying something, we are substituting this non-verbal communication.
Right. Without using any kind of verbal communication,
Yes.
you are directly using non-verbal communication. Then it is substituting. Because there are certain signs or special symbols which the other party definitely knows the meaning about. So when you are using the emblems actually, so then you are substituting. Then complementing. Complementing means adding. It is just be the opposite. For example, complementing means reinforcing. Reinforcing your verbal communication. Just the opposite of substituting. Any example of complementing? Any example of complimenting?
We do with we make a circle with index finger and thumb and three fingers.
Okay. For what?
Maybe that.
When speaking what? What are you complimenting actually?
Like good, looking good, something
Okay,
like that.
okay. Looking good and then making a like a O type of with your fingers and
Yes, sir.
three
Yes.
raised. Okay. Position, which is also known as okay. Okay. So yes, that is complimenting. Doing some kind of gestures along with your whatever you are saying that compliments, reinforces what you are saying. Then again a typical one, accenting. Accenting can be used in several ways. Same letter, same sentence, or same verbal communication can be having different kinds of meaning with different kind of gestures. Or focusing on some part of the language even can give in different kind of meaning. Like if you say I dislike you or I hate you, the emphasis on typical words, I, hate and you, three words are there. The emphasis on different words will give different meanings with your tone, with your paralanguage. Is it so? So which part you are stressing, which part you are forcing through your paralanguage, that leads to accenting through non-verbal communication. The verbal
So can
communication,
you give any example?
I already said the same example I can take. I hate you. So when I say I hate you very normally or in a disdainful manner, I hate you. What does that shows? What kind of thing can it show? What is the emphasis upon?
Maybe it can just show that I hate you. Yeah.
Or you have to think.
Or sometimes it shows anger when we.
When angry, there will be emphasis on certain word.
Yes, yes.
I hate you. See, where my focusing was going.
Hate.
Which part is hate part?
Yeah.
Hate. You're stressing on hate.
Hate. So hate is an emotion, and stressing on hate. So same sentence, the meaning can change with stressing on different parts. If I focus on you, I will be emphasizing upon the person and not exactly the sentiment of hate. Sometimes people in a good manner also, they just friends just say I hate you. You part is more focused. So same words, same sentence can be used in different manner through accenting. The only thing is that which part you are focusing, which part of the speech you are focusing or forcing upon. Then comes accenting. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Depending upon part of the speech and which part you are focusing, which part you are stressing. So that is accent. That gives you an accent in the total speech. And then regulating. Regulating means controlling. How you control the flow of communication through your cues. Like, for example,
So like giving pauses.
giving pauses or a forward lean while speaking. Forward lean while speaking means you want the other party to take in your conversation and continue. Or you showing some kind of hand to the other person. In GDs, it is very common when you show your hand without getting the names, because you don't have to point out the other person that now I have spoken and this person will speak. So you can show your hand, now you can continue and towards the person who you want to continue. So that is regulating the speech. Whom are you transferring the next part of the speech? That can be done even through eye contact, through vocal inflections, through leans or nods. You can regulate the total conversation. So different functions which are done through non-verbal communication: repeating, contradicting, substituting, complementing, and opposite of each other, then accenting and regulating. These are the 6 functions of non-verbal communication. Understood?
Yes, sir.
Sir, what about haircut and beard? Does matters anything, sir?
Yes,
In
this is also
interviews.
non-verbal communication. You have studied one thing which is there at the beginning when we are studying about the forms. What kind of language it is? Haircuts and all. We have already studied the third language which was used in the forms, if you were paying attention. Anyone? What kind of language it is? Haircut, beard, what kind of
Objective language.
objective language, right? So objective language is a form of non-verbal communication, showing through some kind of artifact, some kind of physical signatures that you are doing this thing or you are showing that thing. Your appearance, your clothes say something about you. That is objective language. Objects, artifacts. And beard can be considered as an object on you because it can be removed. So let me stop here.